What's going on, everyone? So, the 10-day contract. It's something that I've talked about. I'd really like to see the Lakers kind of utilize and take the time to evaluate some of these guys. It's what the 10-day contract is. It's kind of a tool in your toolbox, kind of evaluates guys. Lakers have multiple guys that they can look to waive, and Markieff Morris, Cam Reddish, right? As well as, a Shake Milton if they wanted to. You got to keep in mind Jordan Goodwin's probably going to take one of those spots if they waive one of these guys. But I don't hate the idea of trying different 10-day guys, right? Did a whole video. What about, bringing in like a Stanley Johnson on a 10-day? And just see, does he make sense? Can he kind of fill a hole, right? Does it hurt to have another, 6'7", 6'8" guy that can be that versatile, kind of slot in, defend 1 through 5, right? Give you kind of that with the offense that Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron are going to generate, you'll be fine, right? And if he could shoot like he did with San Antonio, and supposedly his three-point shot is much improved, it makes a ton of sense, right? As like a legit 3-and-D guy, even if he's just like 35, 36%, still decent, right? But center, right? There's a lot of questions about is Alex Len and a Jackson Hayes, are they enough to kind of complement what you need at the center spot? I do think the Lakers are going to run a lot of small ball looks. Is that what's best? I think you could argue yes, right? Because they just have so many skilled, big, physical guys that are 6'8", 6'9", right? And that's something that the Lakers really benefit from that other teams don't. Usually you look at teams in their small ball, it's usually a bunch of 6'5", and then they got 2 6'8" guys. No, for the Lakers, it's a bunch of, 6'7" to 6'9" guys. So I do think that you can get away with that against most teams. Obviously, against a Denver, it's not really ideal just because Jokic is just so big and physical. But an OKC team, right? I think you can match up. Now, if you're playing Houston, I think you can match up, right? These teams that they don't have this overwhelming size, right? Where Denver, they're 3 guy, and Michael Porter Jr. is 6'10", right? So they have the size to kind of match up with the Lakers. But there's a guy out there that could become available in Bismack Biyombo. Now, he's not a true 7-footer. He's 6'9", but he has a 7'6" wingspan, right? And he is that lob threat. He is that guy that can still kind of get up there. He's a veteran that can kind of come in, plug in, and provide a role that you need at the center spot. Will the Lakers bring in another center? That's the question. I don't know. But that's why I don't hate the idea of kind of tapping into the tool that is the 10-day contract, right? Bring in a guy on a Bismack, assuming the Spurs, he's probably not even going to play a game for the Spurs. Now, they can give him a second 10-day to kind of get a look and evaluate him. I don't know why the Spurs gave him a 10-day when they did. They could have waited. Maybe they were worried that somebody would take him and they wouldn't get the chance, right? But I don't know. Are the Spurs going anywhere this year? If we're being honest, right? I like the Spurs. I like their future, but they're so far out from even the play-in, right? And their schedule is tough. Lakers have a tough schedule too, but Spurs are another team that have a really tough schedule. But if the Spurs don't give them a new 10-day, there's a lot of talk and conversation about hey, Biz on the Lakers makes a ton of sense, gives you that big physical interior presence. Again, he's not 7 feet, but he has that insane 7'6" wingspan, right? He can bang with the big boys. He can catch the lob threats, get the putbacks, do all that stuff, right? There's an argument to be made there. I don't hate it on a 10-day, right? A lot of people are upset that the Lakers signed Alex Len on a contract and not a 10-day. The reason the Lakers did that was because they had to. Right, Alex Len, you could make the argument, was the best center on the market for what the Lakers need. Just a big, sizable center is also 250. I know people think he's absolute dog water, and he might be. I don't know. I want to give him more than a couple games, 2 games, to decide if he's just trash or not. Right, what does he look like as he gets more comfortable out there, as he gets his legs under him, as he starts to learn the offensive and defensive sets? What does he look like when the team isn't playing the worst version of basketball we've seen them play in a month, right? I want to give him an opportunity. Again, he may be terrible. He might be there was, we shouldn't have signed this guy. It was a waste of a roster spot. That's a very real possibility. I don't know, but I at least want to give him a fair shot, all right? But the reason they had to sign him to a contract was because he was signing with Indiana. And he's not going to turn down Indiana and that guaranteed spot and that guaranteed money and him actually being on a roster for likely the rest of the season to do a 10-day with the Lakers. And then if the Lakers are like, yeah, he's trash, and now Indiana's moved on, now he's not playing for the rest of the year, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense for him. So that's one of the reasons there why the Lakers did what they did with Alex Len. Again, I don't hate bringing in a center on a 10-day to work it out, right? Like, if you want to bring in Biz, assuming that the Spurs don't extend him to another 10-day and don't sign him, that's something else. Depending on, when you're watching this video, maybe we've already gotten that news. But even then, even if they sign him to another 10-day, it is possible that they don't actually sign him to a roster spot. So the Lakers could then bring him out on a 10-day, kind of get a look and evaluate him. That could be another possibility. I don't mind it on a 10-day. The thing is just I don't know how much they're going to utilize him, right? Like, is he better than Jackson Hayes? Shot blocking wise, probably yes, right? He's a bigger, more physical. I think that there's an argument to be made that Biz, with his experience, with his defense, with his presence, that yes, right, he is just long and lengthy. He's not the high flyer that Hayes is, right? He's not the floor runner that Hayes is. So I think that the Lakers would probably still stick with Hayes over Biz if they were to sign him to a contract. Could he play over Alex Len? Sure, right? But even then, how many minutes is that? Because like I said, the Lakers are probably going to play a ton of small ball. So I just don't see them, I don't see bringing in another center, and now you have a bunch of centers that just aren't playing, especially come playoff time. You have two centers that aren't just never seeing the basketball court. And it's just we could have used that roster spot for another perimeter guy, or maybe a better shooter or something like that. Maybe you brought in a Quincy Olivari or something because we just need more shooting or something. Again, I don't know what's going to develop between now and the playoffs, right? That's what this next 30 games is. Time to kind of evaluate, kind of see, okay, what holes are becoming apparent, right? What things should we look to kind of resolve here? Is the center spot going to be that right now? I mean, the center spot, yes, obviously is a liability, but what I mean is, is there that guy that solves that? I don't think so, right? I don't think you're going to be much better with Biz as you would be probably going small ball, right? I think you're probably better even with the small ball lineup. So I just think the Lakers are going to default to that, especially come playoff time, probably very heavily. Now, you could argue it's better to have a guy and not need him than need him and not have him, right? It'd be better to have Alex Len and have Biz and have Jackson Hayes, and you just only play Jackson Hayes, and it's hey, it sucks that we didn't need him, rather than knock on wood, Hayes goes down, and then it's okay, well, we could use another big man, right? But even then, I think the Lakers still just default to small ball. I think they probably just start Len for 15 minutes or whatever a night, and then just play small ball the other 33 minutes or whatever it is, right? Maybe a guy like Biz plays, 10 minutes, something like that. I just think realistically speaking, Lakers probably are going to that's going to be the answer to everything. It's okay, well, how do you solve this? Small ball, right? We're going to default to small. How do you solve this? Small ball. Again, I don't hate giving it a look, right? That's what the 10-day is for, to bring guys in, kind of evaluate them, especially in the month of March, right? The month of March, the Lakers have 30 games, literally almost all their games are in the month of March, because they have 4 back-to-backs. They have this back-to-back, with the Hornets and now the Blazers, but now they have another strain of back-to-back. It's a lot, right? So if you were ever going to bring guys in on 10 days, it would be in March. So that way you can start playing those guys. You can get them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games over if you time it right, you could get Biz on 2 10 days, get him 10 games, if not more, right? Because again, they have a block where they have 3 sets of back-to-backs. So you could do something where you kind of line it up, you sign them right before that first back-to-back, and then he plays 5 games or 4 games in 5 nights, and then another game, and then you give him a new one, and now he plays another 5 games in 7 nights or whatever, and then boom, there you go. Now Bismack Biyombo. Now you got a 10-game sample size, and you could do that for everybody, right? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because the Lakers have 15 roster spots, they can have 3 two-way guys, 3 10-day guys at a time. And then, so you could kind of bring in multiple guys and get multiple looks, right? But how much are those guys actually going to play? That's something else, right? Even if they do sign Biz to a 10-day, is JJ really going to play him a ton? Because the thing is, too, you got to keep in mind, you're also trying to get familiar with your guys, right? You're adding in Luka. You're trying to get everybody kind of, building that chemistry, assimilated with each other, all of that. So I still don't know, even if they did bring in a guy or two on a 10-day, how much is he actually going to play? It's a real question, right? A guy like Jordan Goodwin makes sense and is getting play because they needed to fill that spot after Max Christie, right? So that made sense. But another big man, I don't know if he sees the court very much. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of bringing in Bismack Biyombo on a 10-day? Do you think, no, stay away from Biz on a 10-day? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.